So we got to talk about
the deposition.
Bill and Hillary Clinton.
Let me be as clear as I can. I do not. As I stated in my sworn declaration on January 13th, I had no idea about their criminal activities. I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited his island, homes, or offices. I have nothing to add to that.
I think you should be talking to me. I think you should have called me. I did take those plane trips with him, and you have a right to ask those questions. So I'm glad to be here, and I understand what the oath is. I have to be honest with you. You know, I'll be 80 years old if I live to my next birthday. I don't remember everything that happened 24 years ago, but I do remember some things, and I will tell you what I remember as best I can.
Vibe.
It's a vibe.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to JEJE Vibe.
We're back.
You know I got my amazing, beautiful queen with me.
Thanks, my boo.
You know it's Lewis and Gabriel. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe.
Where else would you rather be?
You already know. So we got to talk about
The deposition.
Bill and Hillary Clinton, the former president of the United States. Bill Clinton, former Secretary of State, and former senator, and former first lady.
Ain't that some title?
Wow. This is Hillary Clinton. You know, the e-files is still a topic of discussion. Even as much as they try to create distractions, the e-files just seem to go nowhere. It's still in the ethos.
Circulating. There are more coming in too.
So the House Oversight and the Congress are looking at bringing people in for deposition. We talked about Lex Wexner.
We did.
And now the former president and his wife
Had theirs separately now.
Separately. Hillary went first and the husband came second and the next day. But let's start with Hillary.
Like every decent person, I've been horrified by what we have learned about their crimes. It's unfathomable that Mr. Epstein initially got a slap on the wrist in 2008, which allowed him to continue his predatory practices for another decade. Mr. Chairman, your investigation is supposed to be assessing the federal government's handling of the investigations and prosecutions of Epstein and his crimes. You subpoenaed 8 law enforcement officials, all of whom ran the Department of Justice or directed the FBI when Epstein's crimes were investigated and prosecuted. Of those 8, only 1 appeared before the committee. 5 of the 6 former attorneys general were allowed to submit brief statements stating they had no information to provide. You have held 0 public hearings, refused to allow the media to attend them, including today, despite espousing the need for transparency on dozens of occasions. You have made little effort to call the people who show up most prominently in the Epstein files. And when you did, not a single Republican member showed up for Les Wexner's deposition. This institutional failure is designed to protect one political party and one public official, rather than to seek truth and justice for the victims and survivors, as well as inform the public who want to get to the bottom of this matter. Instead, you have compelled me to testify, fully aware that I have no knowledge that would assist your investigation, in order to distract from President Trump's actions and to cover them up despite legitimate calls for answers. If this committee is serious about learning the truth about Epstein's trafficking crimes It would not rely on press gaggles to get answers from our current president on his involvement. It would ask him directly under oath about the tens of thousands of times he shows up in the Epstein files.
It started with a back and forth because first they got the invites and they wanted to do it public.
Mm-hmm.
So she was mad that her picture was posted because it was
during the deposition.
Like, you guys didn't want us to do this public. Why is my picture floating out there?
Yeah, because the panel now insisted on a private one.
Excuse me, can I interrupt?
I have
There
another.
are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would
sake.
like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was,
It doesn't
Excuse
matter.
me.
We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah, well.
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I would like to have
I'm
a conversation.
done for now.
Go off the record. Go off the record.
And she was like, I'm done. You can call me till the cows come home.
That you set the rules. Why don't you follow the rules that you set?
Everybody should abide by the rules.
And did you know that you would be photographed today?
No.
And is that at all part of what you had understood about the terms of the agreement for today's deposition?
Well, I will confess that I had some concerns about whether the majority on the committee would treat me fairly and would, fairly convey what I say and what I did and how I looked and how I responded. So yes, I did have a concern, and when we learned about the photos being taken not by a staff member but by a member, it was shocking and very disappointing.
But she came back and the deposition continued and various questions were asked.
If she's met Epstein,
And she said no.
I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited his island, homes, or offices. I have nothing to add to that.
The husband, yeah. And he will have his own day, which is the next day, to speak about his relationship with Epstein. But as for her, she has never met him.
By your standard of pattern of behavior, according to documents released by the Department of Justice, your husband appears in photos in swimming pools, hot tubs, aboard Jeffrey Epstein's private plane with unidentified young women. We came here today and you told this committee that a pattern of behavior demands accountability, correct?
I said that I believe the committee should call anyone who had a substantial pattern and practice of contact with Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes before they came to light.
Does that include your husband?
And after they came to light. You're going to have a chance to question him tomorrow.
So I'll ask you again, by the standard you just set, in your own words just now, does this standard apply equally to your husband or only President Trump?
I have said that my husband has been subpoenaed. He will appear. He will answer your questions to the best of his ability. But there is no evidence whatsoever of any connection with Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. And I think that will be obviously apparent in the questioning.
But as for her, she has never met him. That could be true. That could be not true.
yeah, but we've seen one of the Epstein teens now showing that they've met.
There was pictures floating that there's a possibility that there is a dad.
Jeffrey Epstein. Now, why would he have a framed picture? He's with the Pope. He's with, I don't actually know who this is, probably a big dog. Probably some big dogs from around the world, all right? serious, folks. Important. Whoever this is important enough to have a framed picture. Okay. Now, several leaked emails would imply that Jeffrey Epstein knew Hillary Clinton personally. Whoopsie. Hillary Clinton would also be there, and I guess you would know her pretty well. And Epstein was asked to organize a discreet meeting with Hillary. She's never met Epstein, never had no dealings with him. But he seemed to think that he knew her well enough that he could arrange private meetings with her. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I'll organize a meeting with the Minister of the Interior, Hamed Bakayoko, your Ivorian twin. And also, if you want, I could ask the Minister of Mines and Energy. His name is Adamara Tongura. Said, okay, I thought you were suggesting I not come with Hillary there. I can come on the 16th, leave on the night of the 17th, see him again on Paris on the 28th. Jeffrey, this is going to be tough because I told him that you'll come. I really don't know what to say anymore. You won't meet her and he doesn't know that you know each other. He won't meet her and he doesn't know that you know each other. I thought you were suggesting I not come with Hillary there. Hello, Jeffrey. I just left his place and he knew about the 17th date. He said the 17th date is perfect. Apparently, Hillary Clinton would also be here the same day as you. I guess you know her pretty well. Also, concerning Paris, he'll be there on the 25th, leaving on the 28th for Addis Ababa. He's returning on the 1st to Nice for some nice vacation time. And said if you could meet in Nice then too. 16th will be in Monrovia. That's the reason why it wasn't available. Let me know your plans, because he told me to stay until the 18th, depending on when you're coming. I could arrange for some meetings with a few people. Hillary Clinton, I guess you know her pretty well. Meetings with Hillary are not easily discreet. When? That was in response to a message. That's Jeffrey saying meetings with Hillary are not easily discreet. Could you organize a discreet meeting between Sarko and Hillary Clinton in New York? If not, who should we ask? Don't know him, never heard of him, never seen him, never met him. Okay. Now, during the deposition, Hillary Clinton would respond to some of these emails. All right. Lauren Boebert said Epstein had remarked that Hillary Clinton was much prettier in person. Clinton replied, I'm not going to object to that. Imagine you're flirting with Jeffrey Epstein from the grave. Not very tasteful.
And then just a couple of more questions. Regarding the Epstein files, there are many files where Jeffrey Epstein seems to speak as though he does know you personally. In one file, EFTA 006571115, Mr. Epstein is commenting, and he quotes, "Hey, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person." This was Tuesday, September 20th, 2011. And then another...
Congressman, I'm not going to object to that.
Don't know him. Don't remember meeting him. Don't recall hanging out with him. Not going to object to that, though.
Congresswoman, can we see the documents? Because we don't think the
we will get that
says
printed.
We don't think the document says it. Not that you're not...
Doesn't add up, does it?
Does say that.
Jeffrey Epstein has also commented that meetings with him...
Take it if you can get it. What, from Jeffrey Epstein? I'll take it if I can get it. From Jeffrey Epstein?
Hillary are not easily discreet. Has he ever connected someone to meet with you?
Not that I'm aware of.
She says she has met Ghislaine Maxwell a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
When did you first meet Jeffrey Epstein?
I never met Jeffrey
You never yet?
Epstein.
Okay. All right. When did you first meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I have no recollection of when I first
So
met
you
her.
might have met her, but you don't remember.
I do not.
Okay. So you'd obviously describe your relationship as pretty much non-existent with both of them.
Yeah, I had at least a casual acquaintance with her. I had
her,
nothing
okay.
with him.
Okay. Would you describe your husband's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein as limited, cordial, close?
Limited for a limited period of time with respect to using his airplane.
Okay. And how about your husband's relationship with Ms. Maxwell?
I think that they knew each other for a longer period of time.
Okay. So just for the record, in 1992, Epstein donated a grand to your husband's presidential campaign. In 93, 10 grand to the White House Historical Association while you were in the White House and your husband were. And then he visited the White House, as we've said, I think ad nauseum, 17 times from 93 to 95. And then in 99, a $20,000 donation to Senate campaign or an affiliate allied campaign. And then in 2006, 25 grand to the Clinton Foundation. And then post-Clinton presidency, your husband was on the plane somewhere in the neighborhood of 26 times. Right?
I can't vouch for everything you just said. I can't vouch for...
All right, but you're not disputing it vehemently. So
No, I'm not accepting it, but
Okay.
I can't vouch for it. I can't
Okay.
respond to it.
That's it. All right.
She insisted
Yeah.
not meeting Epstein.
Now meeting Epstein. And also the topic of Howard Lutnik came into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And she said the reason why she met Howard Lutnik, or how they got to know each other, was because Howard, his company, went through a tragedy.
During the September 11.
The World Trade Center tragic event.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost so many of his employees.
Mm-hmm. Including his brother now.
Crazy. And she was a senator at that time. So that was the reason behind her meeting Howard Lutnik.
Mm-hmm.
Howard Lutnik, once again, the current United States Secretary of Commerce, who appears numerous times in the Epstein files. Again, was neighbors with Epstein, communicated with Epstein through emails. There is even a photo that may appear to be him with Epstein. Now, Hillary Clinton is asked about him, and watch what happens.
How do you know Howard Lutnik?
I know Howard Lutnik because when I was senator on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like 650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day. Howard Lutnik missed being a victim because he was delayed dropping his child off to kindergarten. You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at
time
me.
doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other survivors, trying to
and
protect
I
them.
was taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnik.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnik was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money.
email from Howard Lutnik sending it to
and what's
Jeffrey
the question?
Epstein and his
What's the-
people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would let me finish.
obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I
Epstein
didn't.
when
I
there was an
didn't.
intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnik emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to put it. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look.
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No,
Congresswoman.
I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it. And I very much sympathize with not only what you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors.
But they were pressing questions too.
And she was referring them to meet with Lutnik now.
Facts, because he is. I think they should have. I think they have to call Lutnik to come talk.
If you really think about it, shouldn't he be the number one person to call for deposition with everything that is going and how he's been exposed in the Epstein things now, having to lie on national television that he just met the guy once, took 6 to 8 steps after he saw that the guy loves massages. He never went back.
In the middle of the room and candles all around and stuff. So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. And he says, and the right kind of massage. Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again. So I was never in the room with him socially, for business or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
Only for something else to surface.
Oh my God. Pictures too.
Mm-hmm.
Howard even took his whole family there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said.
Not just family now. Other families, he mentioned that other family too, during his hearing, were there too as witness.
Wow.
So if you guys have all this information, shouldn't he be the first person?
Facts. I think Howard should be invited to have a conversation with the House Oversight. That conversation is needed. Because he said it was just a quick lunch he went to the island to have with Epstein.
So now from just 6 to 8 steps and never seeing that guy again to now
taking
quick
the
lunch.
whole family to a quick lunch on Epstein Island. Like, you have all the time in the
What
world.
could be so important to go have a quick lunch?
A lunch, 1 hour lunch. Like, you went to an island, take your boats, wherever you fly to a different country, take a boat just to go have an hour.
That looks more like a vacay, not a quick lunch. Vacation on the Epstein Island.
Why did the Epstein files show you coordinating a meeting and planning a visit with Jeffrey Epstein on his private island in December 2012?
Thank you for the question. I'm glad to be here to make it clear that I met Jeffrey Epstein when I moved to a house next door to him in New York, right? And I met him then. Over the next 14 years, I met him 2 other times that I can recall, 2 times. And that is none for 6 years. So 6 years later, I met him. And then a year and a half after that, I met him, and never again. Probably the total, and you've seen all of these documents, of these millions and millions of documents, there may be 10 emails connecting me with him, probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period. I did not have any relationship with him. I barely had anything to do with that person. Okay?
Secretary Lutnik, I think you understand the root of concern here. It's the way you described very emphatically your first encounter with him in his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again. Did you in fact make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012, I don't recall why we did it, but
Mr. Secretary.
Vacation on the Epstein Island. I think we need to get back to Hillary.
So Hillary just had to tell him, "Hi, you guys have to talk to Lutnik."
Mm-hmm.
I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnik. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee. But I knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother.
And he was a
So
double
I
between
worked.
you and
Let
Jeffrey
her finish
Epstein
her
raising
answer,
money
please.
for you.
Let her finish her answer.
You know what? If you don't want to hear what emotionally affected me, that's fine. But that's why I know Howard Lutnik. I went to the memorial service every 9/11 after the formal service was held.
I see what you're doing
with
here,
all,
and you're
with
obfuscating
all
from
of
the
his
questions. He was
people, the
go-between
families.
between you and Jeffrey Epstein raising money for your
Well,
campaign.
you know, Howard Lutnik and I did work
Thank you. I will
together
now yield
because
to
we had a
Congresswoman
lot of
Lutnik.
victims
Thank
to take care of, and we worked together to rebuild downtown Manhattan. That is how I know Howard Lutnik.
And also the topic of UFO was brought, like, I don't understand
and that's
how-
the thing about the people that were in the panel. I wish they would show more of all of their faces, because the questions that they were asking were ridiculous now.
And on the topic of transparency, Secretary, were you ever denied access, or did you ever inquire on the topic of UAP or Gilgamesh in your official or personal capacity, and why?
I was never denied access because I never asked for access.
Okay. In the efforts of having a transparent government and restoring faith within our country, do you believe that the American people deserve access to those topics?
I do. Subject to any national security implications, I think the information should be made available. I think that's been ordered, or at least I read that it had been ordered.
While I have you here, I just have to ask. So when your husband was president, it was Lawrence Rockefeller had an effort to try to disclose UFOs, UAPs. When you were running for president, John Podesta publicly stated that you would disclose these files if given the chance, if you had been president. Are you pleased to see that these files may be disclosed finally?
I am pleased. As I say, I think they have to be carefully scrutinized so that no national security information is disclosed. But this is an issue of real importance to so many people, and I think whatever can be disclosed should be disclosed.
And some of the questions were not even meant for Hillary. It was meant for her husband.
Yeah. I think they could have done way better when it comes to the question, because it looks like Hillary was just ready for them.
Yeah, and then it looks like they were just asking the wrong questions just to waste time now.
Or are they trying to not probe into it because they know, like,
they know the blowback now.
It's crazy times. So Hillary, she did a thing.
The hot seat wasn't even a hot seat at all, I would say.
She made it cool.
Lauren Boebert, who had this very interesting back and forth on this one. Now, you remember the 2016 conspiracy theory about Pizzagate? Mentioned this in a prior sidebar about references to pizza in the Epstein files, people making connections between the two. Pizzagate was the unfounded theory that you had this sex trafficking pedophile ring featuring prominent Democratic figures was being run out of a DC pizza shop. Boebert asks Hillary Clinton about this.
In past public statements, as in 2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a child sex trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement. Have you reviewed any 2025-2026 Epstein files that were released that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code, possibly?
I'm sorry, does
You're
this
asking
relate-
her about whether
Excuse me.
she's reviewed emails in
In
the
the
Epstein
Epstein files.
files, which relate to the wacky Pizzagate
You
scam.
could characterize it however you want. I just would like to know if she's familiar with any of them.
So
She's
excuse me,
commenting.
your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in the Epstein release files about Pizzagate.
Correct.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people, that caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria. I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be.
There are connections to the language.
Well,
I'm not
the
talking
QAnon
about-
people believe there are, so.
I don't know what QAnon
have at
people
it.
believe.
Have at it.
But you've accused certain parties, and I think even right now today, of promoting slow walking or information in ways that fuels conspiracies. In your view, Did any Epstein-Maxwell related investigations or file handling pre or post 2019 contribute to or intersect with the spread of Pizzagate style theories about Democrat figures?
Objection.
I have no way of answering. That is the most
speculation.
ridiculously.
Have you or your representatives identified any Epstein file content that has been misinterpreted online to revive those claims? And what steps, if any, have you taken to clarify?
Again, object on the ground of
I think that this is all very
speculation.
reasonable.
Well, first of all, I don't follow the crazy conspiracy stories that are online. I regret that anybody does. I find it quite sad, but also disturbing that people would believe some of what is put forth, like Pizzagate. So I have taken no steps to review anything that might have any connection to something which I think is totally bogus.
So we got to talk about the man of the hour.
The husband now.
Bill. Former President Bill Clinton.
Former President Bill Clinton's videotape deposition. Pretty historic to have a president testify under oath like this. Haven't seen it in decades, and particularly regarding this case.
On August 5th, 2025, Chairman Comer issued a subpoena for President Clinton to appear today for a deposition in furtherance of the committee's investigation into the actions and investigations of Mr. Jeffrey Epstein and Ms. Ghislaine Maxwell. Can the witness please state his name for the record?
William Jefferson Clinton.
Thank you.
And here is Bill Clinton's opening statement.
I'm here today basically for two reasons. First of all, I love my country and the Constitution, and I believe America was built on the idea that no one is above the law, especially presidents, and that we should all live by the same set of rules shaped by the Constitution. Democracy requires every person to play their part, and I hope that by being here today, we can bring ourselves a little further away from the brink and back to being a country where we can disagree civilly and search for the truth and justice, and that outweighs the partisan urge for spectacle and point scoring. I will do my part, and I hope you'll do yours. The second reason I'm here is that the girls and women whose lives Jeffrey Epstein destroyed deserve not just justice, but healing. They've been waiting too long for both. Through my brief acquaintance with Jeffrey Epstein, though it ended years before his crimes came to light, and though I never witnessed during our limited interactions any indication of what was going on, I'm here to offer what little I know so I can do my part to prevent something like this from happening again.
Papa was just smiling.
He would see some pictures, and I guess there's some memories triggered.
Oh, wow. I didn't take this picture. Who took this picture? Wow. But he didn't say that, though. I'm just saying.
Mr. President, thank you for being here and for your time today. And thank you for your service. We have, as you know, in the files that were released, there were several photos included you. And we have an exhibit here. That's just one of the photos. And Exhibit K, Minority Exhibit K. Yep. And we'll have that passed around. And what we're trying to get at is some context for the public on whether you remember this photo, and any details you may be able to provide us about it. So do you recall the details of this photo, or recall the photo being taken?
No, I don't think I ever knew the photo was taken.
Okay, and for those who can't see it, it's a photo of you in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken?
I'm almost sure that this taken, I think there's an adjacent photograph, which you probably have, that if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them showing this picture. But anyway, This picture was taken in Brunei.
He was like, wow. He was laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Said he flew a few times in his plane. Nothing serious.
Mm-hmm. And then they brought a picture of him in the tub now, getting his
and he told him what it is.
And we flew one night on a trip to Asia, the last very long leg.
You said we, is it, who is that including?
Well, my whole team that was working
Thank you.
on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and Miss Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei. It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one, and the Sultan of Brunei was a man that I had gotten to know well in my 8 years as president. And his first involvement with international matters is basically to join the Asian Pacific Economic Leaders Conference, which I started and which he attended. And then he was very proud of that, and he hosted, his time came to host it. You know, you do these things in a rotation. And it came at either at the very end of my term or maybe the next year. Anyway, he wanted, when he knew I was coming, he said he wanted to help me with my AIDS initiative, and he invited me to stay there. And he said, I want you to stay at this hotel, and I hope you'll use the pool. So I did, and then I got out and went to bed, exhausted.
Just for the record, there's another picture that also shows this as part of the larger pool area. Do you all have that so that he can refresh his recollection with respect to that?
You should have it. It's quite enlightening. If you watch this,
Yes, it's noted.
It'll
Yes.
give you a different feel.
Thank you.
They said that was an invite from where he was coming from, and it's like, okay, come on, relax.
But he did mention that wasn't the Epstein Island now.
It wasn't Epstein Island. So Bill Clinton was slick.
Mr. President, have you ever lied in a deposition?
No.
Have you ever lied while under oath?
No.
Thank you. Were you personally aware that Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times during your presidency?
At the time it happened?
Yes.
No, at the time it happened, I was not.
Do you know, so Jeffrey Epstein never asked to meet with you personally in the White House while you were president during those 17 visits?
Not to my knowledge.
Would you know who he was meeting with?
No.
Okay,
I didn't know he was coming.
This is a letter from a book of letters, which
it's his 50th birthday.
Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday.
Questions?
Mr. President, do you recognize this letter? And for the record, does this appear to be your handwriting and signature?
It is.
And why did you write this letter?
Why did I? Because I was requested to contribute a nice letter for his birthday book.
And who asked you to write the letter?
I don't remember.
Would Miss Maxwell have asked you?
I don't know. I think someone on my staff asked me.
Mr. President, we are looking at an image of a portrait that looks to be you, Mr. President, in this blue dress. Can you describe this painting? And
He doesn't need to describe the painting. You just gave him a picture. What's your question?
my question is, are you familiar with this painting? Have you ever seen it in person?
I've never seen it in person.
Do you know why someone would paint this?
Are you asking him to
Objection.
speculate?
That's calls for speculation. You can ask the artist.
And if I had known Jeffrey Epstein had this painting, it would have saved me this whole day.
Did you ever introduce Epstein to Monica Lewinsky or any other young female White House staffers?
I did not.
Did Epstein ever request introductions to young female intern staffers of you? Did he request you to introduce them? And one regarding this exhibit 15, this portrait, to the right of this image, there appears to be a plain letterhead document that is framed in a gold frame. Are you familiar with...
That he's testified that he's not seen this picture?
The painting, we asked, yes. And now I'm asking about the image next to it. So
Are you asking whether or not he's familiar with what's in this small frame?
I'm the part that you have covered up.
This part?
I'm asking if he's familiar with this letterhead letter
So
that was
letterhead that we can
Is this
see.
part of the painting?
No, sir. This is next to the painting, and it's framed on the wall in the home of Jeffrey Epstein. I guess a better way to ask, other than the birthday note that was passed around here today for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, Mr. President, did you ever handwrite Jeffrey Epstein any other notes?
Well, I wouldn't remember, except that I've seen a picture recently of another note where I thank him for getting me away from the crowd on the airplane for a while so I could take a nap.
Bill Clinton was slick.
Yeah, and then also he mentioned that he likes the idea that no one should be above law, but that shouldn't be an idea now. It's a thing.
It should be the thing.
I love my country and the Constitution, and I believe America was built on the idea that no one is above the law, especially presidents, and that we should all live by the same set of rules shaped by the Constitution.
That nobody should be above the law.
If it's an idea now, I guess some people still feel like they are, and it's not so.
It's not so. But that's what it looks like today. Like, the right people are not talked about when it comes to the crimes that they commit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's really justice out there, then we should be seeing some of these people in these files at least being investigated.
Yep, because
at least being looked into.
I agree, because my question is like, what kind of future are you trying to leave us with now?
That anybody can commit heinous crimes like this and it's forgotten? Then what does justice mean? What does it mean? Is it how we want the future to the future generations to have an idea of justice, that everybody can just do something and walk away?
And no form of accountability or whatsoever.
None. No accountability at the end of the day. No consequences for just jumping the fence.
That's crazy though. It's not even funny if you really think about it. That's why some people are committing heinous crimes now, even right now, starting a war, knowing fully well that there might not be consequences for their actions.
Crazy time.
Forgetting that the consequences for their actions is huge and it's a burden on others now.
Facts. This can be the future that we want to live to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation.
Oh, hell no.
The baby boomers are fucking things up.
They've made a huge mess of everything.
Like, it's crazy. But anyway, Bill Clinton came in, had his own story to tell.
She's been described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, a neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure. I wish Shantae had told me. I liked her. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think it was anything unusual. I can't tell you how many airplanes I've been on where rich people asked me to go and they had someone offering a massage.
Okay, Mr. President.
You know, all these boats that you go on and all that, they all do that.
Did you ever visit Epstein's Little St. James Island?
No.
We have Virginia Guffrey, who has testified seeing you on the island with 2 young girls. Did this occur at all? Okay. Why do you think she would have made that claim?
Objection, speculation. You can't possibly.
Have you ever met her or any other Epstein associated underage girl?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. In Epstein's 2016 deposition unsealed in the DOJ files, he refused to answer if you were accompanied by 2 young women who were approximately 18 years old on the island. Were any such women potentially underage with you? I know you've stated that you were not there, but did you have any interaction with the said
Objection to the foundation of the question. He's already stated he was not on the island. You're now asking about a claim of the Fifth Amendment by Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
Bill Clinton came in, had his own story to tell.
Mm-hmm. But there's nothing that came out of the deposition now. We already knew that all they're trying to do is just give you guys a show.
It's a
television.
It's a performance. All a performance.
Mm-hmm.
They not look like we're not doing what we say we're gonna do. But
yeah, so that way the public now don't come at us. Let's just do something.
Let's just do something.
Yeah.
Let's show that we're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not looking like there's anything serious that's coming. Like we don't need a stage or a deposition. We need accountability.
Mm-hmm.
An investigation has to be made when it comes to any of these.
And there's more than enough evidence now.
Then there has to be an accountability for everybody that has a crime or has or was a co-conspirator or had anything to do with e-files.
Other than that, then it's nothing but just a country of injustice.
Just a performance. So anyway, that's Bill and Hillary. What you guys think about the whole deposition? It was like 4 hours and crazy times.
Yeah, and she gave up Lutnik.
I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnik. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee. But I knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother.
700 employees who are missing their loved ones. I'm just another one of them. Just another one of them.
Normally, you would have been in your office on which floor?
105th floor.
On the 105th floor. And yet you didn't go in early that morning because of a critical decision you made.
My little boy, I have a 5-year-old, and it was his first day of kindergarten at Horace Mann, so I took him for his first day of big boy school. And because of that, I was late getting down to the office, and therefore I wasn't in the building. I was on my way to the building instead.
And when you got to the building?
Well, I saw the building on fire, so I didn't go in.
So I guess Lutnik has to be invited. We'll keep watching their performance. And we'll get back to you guys and give you guys the details. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. You know it's JEJE Vibe.
On JEJE.
See you in the next one. JEJE Vibe, JEJE Vibe, JEJE Vibe.
It's JEJE Vibe.
Feel the vibe, feel the vibe, feel the vibe.
It's a vibe.
You like the vibe? You like the vibe? You like the vibe?
I love it.